just to add a little bit to what Dr. Gardner said, the purpose of the This I Believe program was to get people to share their personal beliefs to promote understanding of themselves, their fellow Americans, and their place in the world, especially as this was begun in the 1950s. It was a time at which the radio broadcasters thought it was very important to share your personal beliefs, to hear what others had to say. And they've said on the current version of This I Believe that now again is a time where such sharing of personal beliefs is incredibly important. Our class has explored a number of beliefs in their essays. The theme, though, the overarching theme between many of them seems to be connections to the world around you. And so I'd like to just ask if you could hold your applause between essayists, and we'll wait until the end for applause and questions. And with that, I'd like to introduce Nicholas Roberson, our first essayist, with This I Believe.
As a freshman in college, I read an essay by William Cronin called Only Connect, which speaks of the skills and values a liberal education ought to instill in every student. The skill listed lastly, and the one of overarching importance, is also the title of the essay. Cronin claims a liberal education should teach young people to uncover the connections that fasten the world together. Ultimately, as Cronin says, this boils down to agape, the kind of love that comes from the understanding of and identification with others. This is the love described by the great religious traditions of the world. It is divine and sublime. When I read Cronin's essay, I discovered the articulation of my own nascent conviction that I was connected to something larger than myself. I have spent a small portion of my life outside of the United States, and everything I have experienced abroad has only confirmed what crystallized for me upon reading Cronin's article. Human beings are all fundamentally the same. Appearance and custom diverge. Languages vary. Yet the human race is united. The desire for happiness, the desire to avoid suffering, and the desire to strive toward something worthwhile. These commonalities bind us all. In grasping the way in which we are all the same, I understood the way in which all of our differences are utterly benign. They can be understood as mere surface variations, or, as I prefer to see it expressed, the inexhaustible, captivating manifestations of the human spirit. I have learned that people are the same in the ways that matter, and different in the ways that are beautiful and fascinating. If human beings all desire the same elemental things, it follows that violent conflict, which might seem to characterize human relations, is not inevitable. In fact, under scrutiny, not only is it clear that violence is an eliminable aspect of the human condition, it constitutes what is, in actuality, a minute portion of human interaction. Cooperation is the norm. People seem to generally recognize their own humanity in others. Agape is simply this. Once I comprehended the nature of what I share with every other person alive, I had no choice but to love them as I love myself. I found it remarkable that the moral injunction of every ethical system worthy of the name could be contained in a simple observation. We are connected. This, I believe, there is no barrier to human connection that is too immense to overcome. There is no distance so great that human hearts cannot find their way to one another. Thank you.